The traditional education system is rooted in external assessment and extrinsic motivation to perform well on exams and to do the best they can to have the highest rank in a school, to then get into the best university and then have the best job. What's been lacking in the past 50 to 100 years of schooling is that intrinsic motivation of students pushing themselves to learn what they want to learn and having the freedom to choose what their learning is going to be about and the opportunity to master those outcomes. Our program, the Changemaker curriculum, is rooted in intrinsic motivation and a mastery approach to assessment. So students will have multiple rounds of feedback from experts and their peers to gain skills to be better at the outcome. It's not a one test, pass, fail, you got an 87%, now it's time to move on. It's really rooted in what does mastery look like in this task? How have you performed now? How can you continually grow to master the task that you want to master? One of the things that is changing in the digital age is this content mastery. And so we're looking at mastery of skills because we find that they translate better into the 21st century workplace. With the digital knowledge all around us, content mastery is something that could be something of the past. Unless you're becoming a doctor or a lawyer, most real-world application of knowledge comes in performance-based or mastery skill-based assessment. And so what we're saying is with digital access to content, with Google and the internet constantly available, we want to make sure that students understand how to be informationally literate, to access that information, to understand how it's relevant in a 21st century context, but then also how to apply it. And that's the thing, that's the transformative nature of the new program. It's not just knowing the content, it's applying it to a bigger context or a more skill-based assessment. Whereas traditional schooling is really focused on content for the sake of content, we're focusing on content as a means to apply skills and different practices. So with our new program in the Changemaker curriculum, our goal is to, one, cover the traditional content subjects that is going to make every university happy and develop a system and a culture of academic rigor that is strong. We're also allowing for enough student differentiation, meaning students can find their own path through each module, and then also through personal projects find those things that they're very passionate about and give them the skills and the scaffold and the confidence in themselves to support that endeavor. So if I'm a 14-year-old student and I feel like I'm inclined to get into graphic design, the new program that we're designing allows 40% of our time dedicated to that student to develop that craft, to make that their capstone project at the end of their time. And to then possibly go on and start a business out of high school with their graphic design practice, become an app consultant, and to work in any field because of their experiences in high school. So project-based learning is one way that students can kind of fuel their passions and get high school credit for their passions rather than kind of towing the line of what traditional school says and then trying in their tired moments of free time on the outside to develop passions and develop what they want to do in their life. We're trying to kind of blend this social, emotional, leadership, character traits, passion-driven, skill-driven of how to accomplish your goals all into one education that is place-based, that's global, that is experiential, that is surrounded by mentors in all of these fields that can help students pursue whatever passion that they want in a context of global travel and experience. Our goal is to really make a curriculum that can live anywhere in the world and that educators can adapt for their own place, and so students can engage themselves in this type of learning rather than a rote content-based, performance-based assessment model. I hope that the traditional school system will see the merit and the profound transformation that happens in students when they learn in this way. And I'm hoping that there's kind of going to be this common ground met between really experiential learning and really content-driven learning because of the advances that information technology provide. With Google, with Khan Academy, with Crash Course, with the Big History Project, with all these experts in the field creating accessible learning and data sharing to students, the sky is really the limit as to how we use that information and provide a platform for students to jump off in whatever way they would like to. In the US especially, because I find the educational system to be a corporate endeavor, an economic endeavor, more than a learning endeavor, I'm hoping that we could see, more opportunities for students to curate their own path of what learning might look like, instead of jumping through the hoops and paying a bunch of money to get a PhD, which in my opinion is one way that we're keeping minority groups in the U.S. Oppressed or outside of the same opportunities that other subsects of American society have access to. Education shouldn't be for the rich and famous. It shouldn't be if you can pay for a master's, if you could pay for a PhD, you get those. It should be merit-based. And hopefully through experiential learning, through hooking into students' passions with rigorous academic outcomes, we'll see that learning comes in a variety of different forms, and expertise in subject areas can come in a variety of different forms, not just mastery of the traditional things that we've always used to assess what a really educated person is. Following your passions and having the skills and the steps to get from passion to genius, or passion to artist, or passion to expert, those are open to a lot of people now, especially with mentor relationships and Twitter and social networking. There's so many opportunities to do incredible work that schooling is not the only way to get from A to B. And hopefully we could find this balance between traditional schooling and alternative schooling, where schooling as a whole could be engaging, meaningful, relevant to the real world, and involves some degree of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation.